Growing up, I was obsessed with the game of Monopoly. At first, I thought the point was to just pass go as fast as I possibly could. I always chose the car as my token so that I could imagine myself speeding toward that go space. Yeah, I was that kid that made vroom vroom noises as I moved from space to space, and boy, the excitement I felt if I rolled anything above a double 5 on the dice was insurmountable because I would pass go in no time, right? Uh-oh, here come the chance spaces. I was on the edge of my seat every time I landed on one. If I landed on one right after rolling a 12, I wouldn't even know what to feel. Of course, some of the chance cards were great, like this one, but there were other cards that were not so great, like this one. And it seemed to me that every single time I was 4 spaces away from go, I would get a go to jail card, and suddenly I was 30 spaces away from go. I felt so frustrated being sent to jail, unable to advance and get closer to go. It took time to get out of that jail space too. You had to either roll a double, which for some reason was so difficult, pay $50, or wait 3 rolls and still pay to get out of jail. During all that time, it felt like everyone around you was advancing towards go and you would never catch up. I'm sure at this point you're wondering, where is she going with this? And I'll be honest, I asked myself the same question, and here's what I came up with. Every one of us is in a Monopoly game. Now bear with me, I promise it'll make sense. I won't talk about the entire Monopoly board, but instead I'll focus on 3 spaces: chance, jail, and go. Let's think of chance spaces as 2 things in life. First, there are moments when you're presented with a decision and you're not quite sure what the outcome will be. Simply put, it's those moments when we take a chance. You know those chance cards that tell you to advance to the nearest utility? It's this card right here. Right away, you know you'll either be paying someone or buying a utility from the bank. Now, let's say someone owns that utility. You must roll the dice to determine how much you'll be paying. That's where the uncertainty comes in. Will rent be $20? Will it be $120? You simply won't know until it's done. I think we've all had at least one of these moments. For me, it was a situation I faced as I was finishing my senior year of high school. I knew I wanted to go to college, but what kind of college? Would I attend public, private, 2-year, 4-year, in-state, out-of-state? So many variables, so many possibilities, and at the moment, no way to know which decision would lead where. It's almost like I was dealt a chance card that said, advance to the nearest crossroads. That one doesn't exist, by the way, but that's the chance card I imagine a lot of us picking up at some point in this Monopoly Life Edition. There are also moments when we have absolutely no choice but to deal with the circumstance. There's no decision to be made, no control over the situation. Think of these moments as that chance card that says, go back 3 spaces. Regardless of where you are on the board, you have no control over what happens. If you draw this card at the very first chance space, you're now in the income tax space, and what a terrible spot. If the game just started, you lose all the money you're given to begin with. You'd probably sit there and think, crap, how am I going to get ahead now? Think of a time when you embarked on a new phase in your life. A new school, new job, new home, new relationship, and it felt like you ran into an obstacle or a problem as soon as you started, making you take 3 steps back. But we all know that even though it seems like it's pretty much over just as it starts, the game goes on. It may take a while for you to get back on your feet and begin to make noticeable progress, but eventually you get back what you lost and more. That chance space in Monopoly that sent me back 3 spaces was this thing called COVID-19. Am I right? Didn't COVID-19 set us all back? I know we're probably all tired of hearing about COVID, but interestingly, it was a chance that brought me and a few others to WGU. At the very beginning of the pandemic, I had hope in strange ways. COVID brought us a lockdown that was perceived positively by some. We'd all get a 2-week break from work and school, but then 2 weeks became 4 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and then it felt like we drew that dreaded go-to-jail card. One of the frustrating moments in Monopoly is getting this card and being sent to jail when you are so close to go. This puts you 30 spaces away from go and is super irritating, not only because you are farther away from your goal, but now you're stuck, unable to make progress. Many of us lost jobs, some of us lost friends and family members, and quarantine was brutal. But at one point during quarantine, I decided it was time to move past the jail space, and I enrolled at WGU, unlocking a bright future. It took a few tries, a lot of attempts at rolling a double to get out of jail, but eventually I did it. At some point, we all did it because here we are, on the go space. Now, we all know Monopoly doesn't end when you hit go. The game goes on. Our version of Monopoly is a little different because we collect a different reward every time. This time, we're all earning a degree. Next time, maybe a new position at our dream job, a promotion, a wedding ring, parenthood, a new home, you name it. Remember, it's not about how fast you get there or even about the obstacles you face. It's about keeping hope alive when we run into unexpected circumstances, and we know that there is always a way to move ahead. In conclusion, I'd like to thank a few people who helped me circle the board. Thank you, Mom, who's here today and who has consistently given me her love, support, encouragement, and advice throughout this journey. Thank you for instilling ambition in me and always reminding me that hard work, dedication, and action speak louder than anything else, and for teaching me that struggles and difficulties build character. I love you, Mom. I'm going to say this in Spanish now, because that's the language she speaks. Gracias, Mami, por su constante amor, apoyo y consejos. Gracias por darme una fuente de ambición y por siempre recordarme que el esfuerzo, la dedicación y las acciones demuestran más que cualquier otra cosa, y por enseñarme que las luchas y dificultades construyen el carácter. Te quiero mucho, Mami. I'd also like to thank my brother, who's also here, for being a constant reminder that I got this, for reminding me of the passion that I have for education, and for being my biggest cheerleader in everything I do. I love you too. Thank you, Dad, and thanks to my aunt and the friends and family who've always believed in me. Thank you to Lakecia Truss for being an amazing program mentor, always answering my questions and being willing to work with me to determine the best course of action for both my goals and my circumstances. Lastly, thank you to WGU and every single one of you for being an amazing university and graduating cohort. Congratulations, graduates. We did it.